Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today, it's the evening now. I've been out and about. The reason why is because I'm taking care of a move, and I wanted to talk about from top to bottom about that, and I wanted to talk about Seattle and how I want to build with Seattle. I do not want to leave anything, you know, in the ground underneath the bushes. I'd rather sit up there and tell y'all exactly how I feel because I know that, I must find my own way. Maybe those were coincidences that happened. I don't know. It's a coincidence that my card got information got swallowed by the Trump administration. It's a coincidence that um, somebody lunged at me while I was vulnerable. It's like it could be a coincidence. That's why I give if I give Trump the benefit of the doubt, I have to give the Democrats the benefit of the doubt. You know, I don't want to know. Only person that can see what's going on with a bird's eye view is Trump. He holds the key to the White House, which owns the entire United States plus some. I I don't want him to think that I'm trying to use him or any Democrat or Republican. I'm just keeping it real. I'm in search for someone who have enough power to give me a chance. That is what I'm looking for. I'm not asking for anything else other than that. I just had to say that for a second. I know I went off on a tangent, but I don't want him to think that I'm trying to play both sides because I'm not, and it's not like that. But things could have happened to frame the Democrats, just like things could have happened to frame the Republicans. I don't know who to I believe in Trump administration because of the messages I get, you know, but I would never pay for another program because of my personal reasons and beliefs. But when the Democrats and um, somebody lunged at me as soon as I got off of what I was on, and that just shows suspicion, but I can't prove that it was y'all. So I'm getting to the point. My history with Seattle and how I want to build with Seattle is neutral and honest and fair. I'm not here to judge y'all because I don't know what y'all do outside of what is in the news. Families, friends, history, you know, people that you're around all the time. I do not want to leave things on the ground and underneath the bushes. If I did anything wrong, I apologize. I've gotten a lot of people in trouble, but it wasn't intentionally. I just gave you an option to do the right thing, which you know is right. And I didn't it wasn't my intention. My intention was on advocating for myself since I'm only the only one that acknowledged me right now that's in my circle right now is the person that I have to look at every single day in God. That's fair enough to say, right? If I didn't acknowledge myself, I probably would be very depressed and in a slumber. And so if I acknowledge and made any mistakes around y'all, I apologize. I was just only trying to get y'all to correct the behaviors that are wrong. Because I have integrity to do the right things when no one's watching. Now, don't get me wrong, I do some things wrong when people um are not watching, but I'll admit to those wrongs. I've admitted to my wrongs. Let's just break even on a even journey where we can come to a solid agreement in creating a good but irreconcilable differences ending. I want to have a solid agreement of creating good, fair, but irreconcilable. You agree to disagree, differences, ending. That's what kind of thing I want. A solid agreement. Sometimes it may not be fair. Sometimes it may be fair. I'm looking for good but fair. For us being for us being in both the bureaucratic government and federal, whether you tried to prevent or not, I'm a part of the government just as you all are. Um, I want y'all to know that I didn't sit up there and I asked to be in a government, but this was fate, and y'all know how the government works. The government just don't let anybody in. So to the Gavin Newsoms and Bob Fergusons and Democrats, I'm just as have any right to be within the government, than anybody else. And y'all gave me a chance and showed me that y'all cared when y'all gave me the 12,000 plus votes. My voters are very awesome. I'm always gonna care for you guys. Plus 12,000 plus voters. You had to sit and and look me up and see who and what I'm about in order to vote for someone like me. That's why I didn't even vote this year. I didn't vote for nobody this year. But next time it comes up, because it's so weird, every 4 years, every 2 years for certain ones and or whatever. Next time it comes up, I'm gonna make sure I vote. I wanted more, my voters are awesome for having honest, true faith in what I do and being original. I'm always original. I wanted more money in teachers' pockets. I wanted Trump to make it. I spent tirelessly effort, just putting in a lot of effort. I worked tirelessly. Not as much as he do, but as putting together my shows about politics. I don't even watch politics like that. I haven't even watched the TV in over like a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. But, you know, I'm original. And I put my mind to something just as a winner, and the Trump administration, Trump and his wife and everybody else put their mind to something. Just like when the Democrats won, when Biden said, "Look into my eyeballs," it was hilarious. And I reached out to him, you know, and I hope he's doing good with the prostate cancer. I mean, you're the former president. You mean to tell me that all those brewing up ingredients and you don't have a cure for cancer, let alone prostate cancer for people that's in the White House? I mean, you can literally zap yourself into where before it happened and change the events that caused it to happen. Literally. That's crazy. I cannot. I know that President Biden have beef with Trump and Trump have beef with President Biden. I'm in the back. I've said how I felt, but I'm in the back. But I'm rooting. I'm not judging, but I agree thus far with all of Trump's policies and laws. Like, think about it. The only thing I will hiccup a little bit about is the student forgiveness loan. I think that they should do that for people. I think it should be free for college. I think It should be people school practically free. If we can get all that money that schools get in a check to pay for us to get paid to go to their school. They do that, but at a 30 to 20% rate ratio. So you're only getting maybe 5,000 when you could be grossing 15 to 20,000 per school check, if not 1,000%. And then we're satisfied because we're satisfied with those 3 zeros. And it's really nothing but fluff. Inflation done happened, and it's nothing. Give me Googleplex zeros, and it would take the entire universe. It would take the entire universe. So I wanted to put more money in the teachers' pockets. I wanted to put more money into teachers' pockets. That was my dream goal, whatever the race, whether black, white, Asian. I may say little sly comments to my people, but it's not like I'm being funny. I speak the truth, like I just, yeah, I know that the majority of y'all are struggling right now in teachers positions, and that's why I want to take it into account that we need to do a actual zoom in on teachers pay, because a lot of people are learning about life at universities to be these teachers, taking these tests, getting out there, working 2, 3, 4. I don't even know how somebody can work 4, 3, let alone 3 or 2 jobs uh, a month. I wanted more police force on the job while I talk state funding to up the pay and keep Seattle safe again. If Bruce Harrell is in Seattle carrying a weapon because he feels like his life he's the former mayor, I get it. But still, he's holding a weapon because while he was just a candidate, or before that, he caught a charge and they dismissed it. If he's carrying around a gun, and that was maybe the late 80s, early 90s, or mid 90s. So I'm saying, like, Bruce, you know, he was, I give you the credit. You may play it off, but I know you're only trying to keep as safe as you can. And whoever's pulling the strings, not the governor, whoever, not even the president, whoever is technically over that state. That's why states are independent. Whoever has the most money in that state owns that state by a share or more. So whoever is actually controlling this state, yeah, come on now, you're in a green zone. Can you make it green for the rest of us out here? Because, like, I haven't, I just, it was green here. I wanted to, I wanted to interview Bruce Harrell. I know he and his crew probably laughed at that gesture, but I did it anyway to show him that I have the courage to sit up there and let go of my fears and interview somebody like him. I've even wrote the Trump administration before him and asked Trump. I said it would be an honor to interview you at 70, but he's like 82 or 81. I'm like, dang, I'm never going to get to interview this man. This man has had many of interviews, and I'm never going to get to interview him. Maybe probably by the time he gets dementia, and I don't even think he ever going to get dementia. Come on now. If you ain't got it by now, you ain't going to get it. You know, it's no way somebody like that life will turn upside down and he be in a wheelchair and then dementia and then die. I don't know how his story going to end. I don't care for knowing how his story end or anybody else's story. What I do know is that I wrote him and I asked him to for the interview. I wrote Bob Ferguson about me being followed by this Mexican organization. I had to be true. You know, I'm true to my roots. I will never stop telling the truth. It is a Mexican. I can't pinpoint the cartel, but they do. They'll sit up there and make me look stupid. They get off. They can't do anything to me or right now because I'm not in a position. It's cameras and police, but this organization settles for right now on making me look crazy. You know, that is their ticket. They feel the freedom is gas. I mean, they do it with Trump too. They gaslight him and they be like, oh, Trump is XYZ. And I'm like, okay, fine. You have your opinion. But when it start growing, like someone had a nerve to literally, they know that the government be listening and they hate their lives so much that they like, I could XYZ him out right now. Like I don't care if he's listening. And I'm like, whoa, man. I'm like, that much hatred for a president. You've never met him. You only know what the news give you, and sometimes that's not everything. If you think that you've been nurtured by the news, fully 100% honesty and not politically motivated, then you're messed up in the head. I got off on probation 3 months in advance. I told the shelter, which was a good thing, man. I pulled teeth and nails to get that daggone probation off for 3 months, but they were a little hesitant, but then they released me, and that's why I said what I said when I said, was they trying to get me back in jail? That was their opportunity. I don't know, but I can't prove nothing. But it's just weird that I just get so much anxiety in me, and then all of a sudden I'm ready to take out a threat because this threat is sitting up there trying to attack me, and he knows that he is no way around touching me, and so he stops what he's doing in his tracks. I told the shelter at the YWCA about themselves and setting me up with some type of amphetamine drug, the same drug I believe was used the a week and a half ago, some type of methamphetamine or amphetamine, but I'm not on it. I have no reason to lie to you guys, yo. This is my life, and it may sound like a paranoid thought or delusion, but Kimberly Cloud don't get that nervous. I haven't been that nervous since I haven't been that nervous. Um, while on probation, I took a drug test and saw I had amphetamines in my system. Now, like the officer said, which had me on camera, you know, amphetamines can show up the system falsely because that same day I went to the hospital because she encouraged me to go to the hospital and get checked out. Now they said I didn't, but that doesn't mean there's a cutoff limit. It could be this much amphetamines in your system, but they only detect for this much. So the cup is picking up I had amphetamines, but their system are sensitive enough to where it's like it has to be at a certain level. So I asked for that and they questioned me and challenged me on that. So I had amphetamines based on it, even on me even going to the police and giving her the paperwork that I believe was never given to the chief of police. You know, like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not trying to start beef, but I never got a call back. It's an investigation being done, and I feel hurt, because nobody, um, I know for a fact in my heart tells me that what y'all are doing is not involving yourself with me unless there's a reason. But then the facts are that I don't call y'all unless there's something wrong. I don't say, oh, what am I going to do today? Let's call 911. I don't do that. I brag about or boast about the post call, but I never get happy, hot, or bothered by calling you guys. I want to make that very clear. These, though, seem scattered, but they all fit together in accordance of what I've done. Everything that I've done seems scattered, but everything is in accordance with what I've done. How I'm trying to end my note with Seattle is on a good one. I don't want to go into detail. Well, I will go into detail of what happened. What happened was, I respectfully went down there and I respectfully talked to him and I respectfully kept it real. I wasn't lying. I even cursed a little bit, but, I talked to the guy and he sat up there. He didn't even tell me. I wasn't even looking for it. I was looking for plan alien alphabet number. Like I was looking for that number, because I wasn't going to stop because I know that someone had lunged at me, and I was just trying to keep the peace. But on the contrary, however, you stood up, and whatever it is that you did, you caused me to get a credit. Now, I don't know where we stand on what the motive is or whatever the circumstances may be, but I have faith that you're doing it out of good faith. I hope. I hope. That's all I can do. You got to understand that. That's all I can do is hope that you it's not an ulterior motive, but if it isn't, thank you. You have my 150 Googleplex% of a thank you for doing that for me. Now that is one thing I do not have to worry about. You made it easier for me amongst my travels, so I appreciate that. So it's safe to say now, don't make me look bad by saying this. Now, it is safe to say, I mean, I'm not saying all people of a different ethnicity is bad. That's not what I said. It's hard for me to trust people of different ethnicities because I have been messed over the majority of the time. So just notice that pattern of when I say things happen, and prior to that, with the same type of race. But I am willing to put that aside because put you made a call, you wrote the regional manager, you took the initiative to have me on your fucking mind. Thank you. Whatever you did, what you did, whoever it was. Thank you. Now, I hope that my honesty can help rebuild your communities for the best. That's all I want to see. I don't want to know what happens when I move. I just want to know that what I did will help the next Black woman that comes in my position that goes through what I went through, or the next white woman who comes in and gets muscle because of her woman status. Like, who knows? But I'm doing this for everyone, not just women, but men too, to be able to advocate and do it with respect and fairness, and be taken it for it to be taken into consideration is a highly, I cannot grasp how highly I have respect for you because of what I don't care about why. I care about that you executed and you did your freaking job. And that's all I wanted. So where are we at? Oh, we're at 30 minutes. Oh my God. So now I'm gonna freestyle it. I don't even know what I want to say. I shouldn't cross the streams. So pretty much, from the heart, man, you guys, I want to leave on a good note. I don't want no more, hostility. I know I still owe some things, and I'm willing to pay those off soon, sooner than later, so I can have a clean slate, like pick up all the cookie crumbs. You know how if you file for bankruptcy, then all of a sudden you see another bill, you like, where did this come from? It's just coming out of the woodworks. They like, hey, you remember this bill right here? And you'd be like, wow, I did not remember that bill right there. But I will say to where I stay at, that y'all have to correct what's going on in the account, because it's like it says $10,000 now that I owe. So I don't know how y'all can correct that part, but I know it'll get corrected. And that's not in a Stewie way. But yeah, man, like I'm I've done everything so far myself. The real test is when I get to the airport, getting across to the other side, because these are time travelers. I'm getting to mingle with time travelers again. They're going different ways, a group of them is going one way, a group of them is going one way, coming in, going, coming in, going, the hub. Airport ain't nothing but a hub. A highly controlled hub with restaurants. And the hard part is getting there 2 hours early and getting to the other side, because it's just so many people, and you'd be like, yo, just let me in the front of the line. I'm just so excited, man. I cannot wait to start filming this, but I'm definitely not plugging in my charger. I know they getting ready. They like, hey, get those chargers ready. Get them charger stations ready. I have a feeling she's going to be near a Starbucks station. So yeah, like I'm like, okay, fine, okay. So, but I pray that everything work out. I pray. Um, it's safe to say that yesterday was a very, very, very interesting day for me. You want to know why? Because last night I was just watching like straight comedy, and I'll tell you what happened, and I'll tell you why I don't listen to certain things from certain people. So, and this is how they ease in hate. Okay. I'm not hating on them, no. I'm not hating on them. I'm not hating on them. But I don't like when people manipulate me with hate. Just like it was somebody that kept saying, you don't like you like women. They probably don't like you. You sure you don't like women? like asking me, and I'm like, I like women. What are you talking about? Not in that way. Like seriously, I hate when people do that. I really do. Don't ever underestimate me. I like all people of all races. It's just that we live in a prejudiced society. We live in a prejudiced society, y'all. We really do. Where you have to identify the race and then the gender, you know, when people like or things or entities like Grok go by many different forms and does not like to identify as a male or female or even mixed breed of LGBT. You can ask Grok that question. But yeah, so I'm gonna be happy at the airport. To get to the other side is a challenge, but I'm gonna be happy at the airport. I want you to keep close watch of how I do this to the ones that's keeping close watch. Not the haters that's keeping close watch, but the good people that's keeping close watch. No, I want my record to do and look good. I'm tired of looking bad on paper. It sickens me. The first thing I watched was Dave Chappelle. Um, the black woman who, when keeping it real, goes wrong. You must watch it. And then, I was just breaking out laughing. And then there was one where he was like, hi, he was like, playing as a white man role. And I get it. I get it because he said in his own words that they made a pixie scene about him that was like they was laughing at him instead of with him. But this particular scene made me kind of feel bad for white. It's a couple of scenes on the Dave Chappelle show that made me feel kind of, if I'm cool with white people, that makes me kind of not like feel like I'm dissing them. I'm laughing at them on the side, and I don't kind of like that. I don't like it at all. We should be able to participate in people's cultures without, um, like for instance, the Mad Real World. I can show you right now. I'll get kicked off of YouTube instantaneously. The Mad Real World, where they stabbed the white guy. And he said, what did I do? And they said, we reserve the right to F. That's how they do me. So I'm not picking sides, but I truly feel like we need to stop as a race. I'm only speaking out because of my race. I am black. So I know what it's like to be around prejudiced white people and prejudiced black people. And those high up prejudiced white and black wants me to pick a side, but I'm not going to pick a side. And that's how I feel, man. Like I'll tell you about yourself, but that film by David Chappelle, when they stabbed the white guy, was wrong. Back in the day, I used to laugh at that because I was only laughing because it was funny. It was funny to know that it was comedy, but now that I'm more enlightened, I see that it was a diss on the white race. If I saw something, if y'all ever saw or heard a musician in 2025 call a black person the N word, the NAACP would be out saying, we want our rights. You have to remain equal. You can't sneak somebody. That's exactly what happened. He snuck a white person. I'm neutral. I'm neutral, and if you can't accept that, then that's who I am. I've said how I feel about my professor. He's white. I'm black. There was some prejudice going on. But that doesn't make me feel any different about any other white person. I would never do that. The same applies to black people. But it's like myself, I can feel sometimes the tension. I am rooting for you guys. And everything I'm doing, black people, is not only for you guys, but for the white race, but for the Hispanic race. Seriously. I think outside of the box. And I know y'all mad at me because I said that, but we cannot be dissing. How would you can't work with people that diss you? Why would you want to be in heaven dissing God? What if God had an imperfection? Oh, look at God. He sat up there and created the devil. That's his stupidity. Nobody wants somebody that's going to complain. And it sounds crazy coming from a person like me, but I'm telling the truth. Nobody wants somebody that's going to complain. So yeah, man. You're going to sit up there and talk pure junk, and then you have your hand held out like this. It's 2025, and that goes, like seriously. That's like me talking junk. Like, I know my limits. I can easily have my money taken, and even if it was a risk that my money would be taken, I I have a filter. I would never disrespect any government organization. I don't have time to write them all day, every day. I don't have that time. So I I'm kind of glad that I got on here because it's like um I got a long, and when I get there, I got a long list of things that I have to do. A very long list of things. I'm gonna be very busy. I think I kind of messed up a little bit though. This is code I'm talking like Elon must say 4343. He don't really say 4343. I say 4343, you know. But um I have a lot to do. And I just wanna I may have gotten people in trouble, but it was never my intention. I didn't say who can I mess up life today. And just because somebody gets under your skin doesn't mean you have to complain on them. No. But if they're jeopardizing your house, your car, everything else, then you have a problem. Your school, that's your, that's my income right there. My work job is school, the Kimberly Cloud Show, and everything revolve. I'm doing what I love. That's my income. And the government is okay with it, and I'm okay with it. So Donald Trump, and to all government officials, I hope that you guys um evaluate where you need to go. And I apologize for asking you to come into Seattle. That's your choice. I'm not trying to say, um, do whatever it is you need to do. But I'm just saying that I'm asking Bob Ferguson to look at the criminal backgrounds of criminals. Don't just use it as statistics to make your state look good. Look at the criminal history and say, is this what my state needs? Is this what my state needs? Don't, it's beautiful out here. It's so beautiful. But there are a lot of liabilities out here roaming around, intercepting phone calls, getting people license plates, getting people information all across the United States. Even Americans are doing it. Putting cameras, doing all types of stuff Marty told me about in the short period that I was with him. If it wasn't for Marty, I would have never, I kind of knew when I was being watched, but I didn't know for a fact, so I left it alone. A person knows when they're being watched, they just can't prove it. So, yeah. Um, I hope you know, sir, that I'm rooting for you and your wife, man, and God bless you. God bless the woman that died from the National Guard, the man that is still in critical condition, that his toes is moving. Um, to everybody that's died, I don't want no black person to think that I'm trying to be funny. I'm just telling the truth about what happens in our world, and we need to seek to sit up there, and some of us are elevated. Like, I know a couple of people I interviewed, very elevated, very well seasoned, educated, like but you go to places like to the ghetto, and they have no filter on their brain mechanisms of being a murderer. They don't care. That their mind is trained to kill, whatever the class, you know. And it's a sad thing. There, I understand Trump and Obama and all the presidents like Putin and them. I don't know what they're doing or why, but they have to make a killer's decision with a bunch of other killers for the right reasons. So you can, it's safe to say it's both good killers and bad killers. So when I, excuse me for if I say what I say, when I get angry about being followed and emasculated by certain people. So, I'm just saying, Trump has to make decisions every day of blowing up cartels, boats for 25,000 people to survive. That's a good killer. A bad killer, which we know from overseas due to the tabloids and what they put out. We don't know what's really going on, but for what we know that the news put out is that Putin has killed people. And we know Putin has killed people, but we know that if Putin was a regular citizen killing a mass amount of people, he would be in jail with consecutive life sentences if not studied. for the rest of his natural life for what the news says he's done. And I'm still remaining neutral because I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in his lair scoping him out saying, is that what you're going to do? You're going to kill those people? You know, like, I don't do that. I'm not there. What I do know is that some people make decisions to do these things for their country. I just wanted to clarify that with you for a second. So, yeah. I also wanted to thank you guys for watching me before I end. Thank you guys. Did I see some hearts go up? No, I didn't see no heart. I seen an X. But yeah, like thank you guys for watching me. Like seriously, man. Thank you. You is what made you guys out there, which they were a little skittish today. You guys out there makes my show. You make my show. And I appreciate you guys wholeheartedly for watching my show. So the Haters Club of the Year, we have the Hater of the Century, Kimberly Cloud, where she hates on people all day, every day. What do you got to say for yourself, Kimberly? Well, I would like to thank the hating ass VA, the hating ass White House for giving me just one like, and the hating ass government for shipping me off to a different state. So, yeah, and together we shall hate. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.